One of the world's biggest banks, Goldman Sachs, warns higher budget spending could put the U.S. economy at risk. One America's Kristian Rouz has more.
Global investment bank Goldman Sachs warns President Trump's fiscal stimulus policies might pose risks to budget sustainability and financial market stability. The bankers cited their concerns of a short-term increase in U.S. national debt, as the president's tax cuts alone are projected to add some $1.5 trillion to the budget deficit over the next 10 years.
From the administration point of view, they don't believe that the limit of GDP growth has been reached, and they think it'll grow higher. If it does grow higher, people will earn more money. If they earn more money, they'll pay more taxes. That's the whole supply side thing. Could it possibly work? I think it's a risky thing. I probably wouldn't have done it.
This comes as fiscal conservatives in the Republican Party have advocated against unnecessary increases in budget spending and suggested cuts to social expenditures could help balance the budget and reduce the risks. Goldman's experts urged the Trump administration to address the already heightened risks of the $20 trillion burden of national debt, one of the main legacies of the Obama administration.
Well, again, let me just first say I share your concerns over the deficit, and that's why I think it's important on a bipartisan basis we work on this. We've put together a budget that shrinks the deficit, but the president is concerned that the debt went from $10 to $20 trillion.
The White House says the tax cuts will produce an increase in fiscal revenues due to the expansion of the tax base, making the plan pay for itself, a view somewhat supported by Goldman's top management.
We've reached a point now where we've got a couple of quarters of growth at nearly 3%. We're starting to see some signs of real wage growth, which is a result of a stronger economy and is good for everyone's participation in that economy.
The second pillar of President Trump's fiscal stimulus, the $1.5 trillion infrastructure plan, is set to rely on public-private partnerships to finance 80% of the package. This eases the concerns of its possible negative effects to the budget.
The framework will generate an unprecedented $1.5 to $1.7 trillion investment in American infrastructure. We're going to have a lot of public-private, and that way it gets done on time, on budget.
Goldman analysts expect the federal government's deficit to reach 5.2% of GDP growth next year, while longer-term prospects are lacking clarity and depend on real economic growth in the coming years. Economists say the primary threat to budget sustainability is the imminent increase in spending on Social Security, Medicaid and Medicare, as well as welfare benefits. This as GOP lawmakers are calling for cuts in such spending and a comprehensive welfare reform, as well as stricter welfare eligibility criteria in order to promote labor participation, currently at its lowest since the 1960s.
But I can tell you the real problem with this particular one is that our leadership caved. The swamp won and the American taxpayer lost. And our original play was to make sure that we funded the military. We kept other spending flat. That's what we passed. And yet what we got put on the House floor just a few hours later was this unbelievable budget deal that spent American taxpayer dollars.
Experts point out, from the fiscal viewpoint, the U.S. economy is still in the Obama reality, plagued by high and inefficient spending and low revenues, setting President Trump's fiscal reforms for a rocky start. Kristian, Rouz, One American News.
We can use your help. Call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call today.